Before the season, the West Coast Conference held its first ever basketball season tip-off event at YouTube headquarters, a significant moment for the WCC. And once again this week, we're going to have a chance to watch some roundtable discussions held during that event as Sean Farnham spoke with the league's head coaches. Topic this week, recruiting and how it's changed in recent times. Sean speaks here with Santa Clara's Kerry Keating, Bill Grier of San Diego, and LMU's Max Good.
We're going to take a look now at the recruiting process and how that's kind of evolved over the years, and three coaches in the West Coast Conference that have a vested interest in the recruiting process and how it's continued to evolve. Kerry Keating from Santa Clara, Max Good from LMU, and Billy Grier from San Diego. And I guess let's first of all talk about the schedule as far as the recruiting process goes and how that's evolved over the years. Now there seems to be a larger emphasis obviously on the summer recruiting period. Some of those spring weekends are going to open up, and we'll start with Kerry. And how difficult is it for you guys during the month of July in particular when your staff is out trying to see as many kids as possible in such a short period of time?
There's a lot of kids, you know, and obviously they're playing in a lot of events. The AAU over the last 10 years has really evolved into becoming its own entity. You know, Max can probably attest to the fact that before AAU you're dealing directly with high school coaches, directly with the kid. AAU has kind of brought in this whole element of dealing with a lot more people, the extra coaches, the extra people involved with the teams. With all that, you got to make sure you have all your bases covered, and those events in the summer are a great way to get the evaluations done, but also assess who's involved in this whole process as far as recruiting goes.
Max, obviously, Kerry bringing up the fact that the game has evolved away from. Do you think it's a positive that shifted away the focus a little bit, or how do you evaluate kids when you're balancing the AAU setting, which seems to be more of a showcase setting, versus a high school setting where you're dealing with more of the team aspect, program aspects?
Well, you can see more kids under one tent, obviously. It used to be, you know, you identified kids and then stayed on them. Now, in some cases, you identify them and then follow up with the AAU programs. But you know, you're always looking at the guys that you've earmarked and identified, but then in watching them in the summer, almost always you come across some others that pique your interest for sure and get your attention.
Social media seemingly has been important, Coach, in this evolving change, whether it's Twitter, accounts for the kids, the coaches, YouTube, all the various avenues now to evaluate players. How do you kind of balance that all out and try to identify the players that fit best in your individual program?
Well, certainly it's not an exact science, you know, recruiting, and I think as they both said, now there's certainly a lot more exposure these players have, not only in the number of events, the number of teams, number of kids out there, but also in stuff that's available via the internet. And through YouTube and some things like that, you have access to see kids maybe in a different part of the country that you've either heard about or found something out about. That you know, maybe you saw them once in a game in the summer just because you were watching someone else. You want to try to find out a little bit more about them, and so there's certainly that kind of access now that's changed so much, you know, in the last 10 years.
Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate your thoughts on recruiting and where we're kind of standing at right now.